Zora Magdaros was an inside job.
It was done inside of Capcom, and someone thought it was a good idea.
Oh shit.
Damn.
I can't see. I can't see Jinx. There's too much shade in here.
It begins.
It said hunting will begin at 0 seconds like 10 seconds ago. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Whoa, what the fuck is this game? Holy shit.
Holy shit, this game looks cool, guys. I heard they have a free trial right now. We should try it.
What? A free trial right now that you can download online for free?
Yeah, and play this game. Look at that guy. Oh, look at that roll. I bet that won't be annoying in game.
God, sounds like a paid promotion.
This was not sponsored by Capcom, but Capcom, please sponsor us.
Please, I would.
Oh god, every time I see Ryozo's face, I just see his expression at the World Championship seeing all the aerial GS users. It's just permanently in my brain.
So obviously we've all already seen it, but
yeah.
What are you talking about? This is so new and fresh.
I ain't never seen this before. Who is this man?
Wait, is he the guy who's like red face?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the yes, that is the gift. That is one of the emotes I added to the server.
Okay, so Kulve, this.
What this means for us is more video.
Right.
This means way more videos for us. Yeah.
I think
I'm a Kulve Taroth main, so Jesus Christ, there's gonna be so much grinding.
I think I'm
full red glory.
I think I'm like the only person in the community, quote unquote, that like doesn't really grind Kulve at all.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Like, I think Rage doesn't either because he's busy playing fun things.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I will be honest, the fact that it's a limited time event is kind of disrespectful of the players in a way, but the fact that it's limited time means that, like, hey, you've got a week or you've got 2 weeks to put in like 80 hours into this fucking game to try to get the thing you want. Fuck the rest of your life.
By hunting this one monster over and over.
So, like, I don't know, this is an interesting thing for me, though, is that I'm actually really glad that they're implementing it the way they are going to implement it, which is that the new tier of gear is going to be rainbow equipment, right? Like, it's from rainbow boxes. So it's actually a separate tier from the previous gold boxes. This means that if they handle the drop rates properly, they aren't actually diluting the weapon. Like, one of the problems with like them adding the extra 14 R8 weapons they did earlier on was that it diluted the weapon pool, so it made it even harder to get the weapon you want. But the fact that these are either exclusive or heavily weighted towards an extra new tier of rewards you get on top of the ones you previously did means that the weapon pool won't be that diluted, so it won't feel as bad.
And what I'm more excited about as well is, say you have that rarity 8 that you want from the previous one, these rainbow boxes have an even higher distribution of those gold rewards.
Like those R8 ones, something like the nice, which should be really nice. Like this should make it, if you can like effectively farm Arctic Kulve Taroth, which, you know, when she comes out in 8 days, we will be figuring out how to do that.
We will find out.
We will find out the most efficient way to farm her. But if you can't do it, it actually seems like this will make it a lot easier for you to get the good shit.
Right. What do you guys think of the concept of adding new content to a game like Monster Hunter? Is always a double-edged sword, but obviously I'm talking about feature creep, because a lot of the Kulve weapons, the ones that are worth keeping, like Rarity 7 and up, are just flat-out better versions of the regular weapons in the game.
A lot of the tweaks are like, okay, this is like a 6% damage increase, this is like an 8% damage increase, this is like a 3% damage increase, and they should be better because you don't have a reason to grind it otherwise, but they aren't like so egregiously better that you have to do it. The exception to this is the fucking Glutton. It is so obscenely stronger than every other spread 3 option in the game. Like, this next best spread 3 option is the Horn heavy bowgun, and that weapon is 60% weaker than Glutton is. Like, it's so obscenely stronger. If you want to use spread heavy bowgun, you pretty much have to get it. I know I am a huge exception to like the general rule in that I legitimately just enjoy hunting Kulve for hunting Kulve. I've ground out so many hundreds of runs of hers, and like I enjoyed them because I enjoy fighting Kulve, but that's not the case for most people.
Yeah, I do not.
I mean, yeah, like, you look at every other monster in the game, right? Like, let's say you want to make a full set of Nergigante armor and, like, a Nergigante weapon, right? You have to, like, get, like, 2 gems for that, and that's the majority of your grinding parts for that. So, like, based on drop rates, and you're doing, like, good investigations for it, like, you're talking, like, maybe 20 Nergigante hunts, probably close to 10 15 to get, like, that going. But 10 to 15 Kulve max rewards isn't jack shit. You aren't getting anything out of that.
Your gold reward could just give you a rarity 6, and then you're like, well,
Yeah. But from what I understand, previous Monster Hunters, now see, it's interesting because Jinx and I have only done World. Now, I mean, I'm starting to get into GU.
Yeah, I played Tri like 50 hours. I cleared like most of the high rank stuff and then dipped.
Okay, so I didn't even know that, but there's always been some kind of random element. Like, for instance, in GU, I'm pretty sure your necklaces are random.
They were, as I understand, purely RNG, and some of them were egregiously strong compared to like anything else.
Yeah, I can confirm. I still remember. I don't remember if it was given to you or I just was lucky enough to get it, but there was like an auto guard charm, and like that was the best thing that I had for the longest time because everything else was just trash.
So, like, that's why, like, most of the, like, for example, like, the Fire Longsword, compared to, like, the other meta longsword options we have at the moment, it's, like, at best, 2% better with peak performance active, right? Like, it's not huge. Like, if you want to speedrun, or if you want to run the absolute max optimal deeps you can, and it's good that you can get something from grinding Kulve Taroth that lets you do that, but it's not a noticeable enough difference.
There's got to be a best version of something. There's got to be the best longsword. There's got to be the best sword and shield. There's got to be the best hammer.
Right.
But I don't know if, you want it to be that much better.
I think it's an impossible problem to solve with any sort of gear-based game in that when there's new gear, you don't want to make it worse because then there's no reason to get it. Looks at winter event armar.
Looks at Tempered Luna armor.
Yeah. Then what is the margin of better that you stop at, like to incentivize?
Where the fuck do we go up from here? It's like when Super Mario Galaxy. So where exactly do you go from Galaxy? Like, how do you possibly scale bigger?
Super Mario Universe.
Exactly. Like Super Mario Dimension. But like
Super Mario Odyssey.
When you have our meta sets right now for melee weapons especially already have infinite white sharpness, and it can fit every single EFR increasing skill except 2 to 3 attack boost, some agitator, and peak performance. Like, there isn't that much higher to go now. We've power creeped so high now. Unless they add brand new skills that completely like outscale the previous ones in like.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
When they do like G rank or whatever the next like rank of quests or whatever it is gonna be, unless they add in new skills or new set bonuses that are like much more powerful, or they actually increase the caps on certain skills. But yeah, like I don't know, I as much as I love Kulve and I enjoy farming Kulve and I enjoy fighting Kulve, like I definitely recognize that the number tuning is another case of Capcom doing really bad numbers tuning because the drop rate is just way too low. Hex made a mod to like change the drop rates in PC, and they weren't even that big of a change, but they made a big difference from a lot of people like in our Discord server who play PC who are doing it. They would get a lot of stuff they wanted by like their 100th Kulve, which is reasonable. Like that's reasonable for a fucking event monster.
1,000 more for you.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of me being like, it's my 300th Kulve. I haven't gotten Glutton yet. Okay.
And then I tell Jinx about how I've gotten Glutton before, but because I assumed that anything that wasn't rarity 8 was trash, I melded it.
Yeah. So actually, the no more regular Kulve kind of worries me because like the footage in the game, right? The Kulve took about 175% damage from the boulder drops. Which means that if Octopa Kulve replaces regular Kulve, but still has that extra health scaling, like 75% more health on all the parts and everything before leaving her mantle, that could be really punishing for people who haven't already farmed Kulve a bunch, because that'll make, like, actually running her efficiently just to get, like, non-arc tempered rewards a lot more difficult. So that kind of worries me.
New dance, though.
And it actually looks really good. But yeah, so, like, the Gala armor is actually, like, pretty legit. All the pieces run, like, a level 2 skill, a level 2 slot, and 2 level 1 slots. So, like, the helmet being, like, the real breadwinner because it runs a crit boost. It has the same efficiency as, like, a Nergigante helmet, and the Nerg helmet's already a meta piece. But this one's a lot more flexible because you don't have both of your level 2 slots bound, so if you wanted to like run a charge blade or like a lance or something with like a metahemoth set, but you want to be able to run guard up, like maybe an option now with that helmet. So I don't know. I'm excited about the helmet.
What we're saying is we're gonna run Draken with a top hat.
Yes, Draken with a top hat. Possibly. Like it's likely that the most efficient builds will still be the same as they are until we get like Kulve Gamma or some real power creep. The top hat may very well be good for some more like flex sets where you need to like change one skill that's normally bound to an armor piece or something. Oh boy. What's this?
See, I don't even remember what order stuff is in, so I'm kind of like, what this? Oh, right.
Oh yeah, there he is.
Yep.
It's
the
Skyrim.
Witcher.
It's
Okay,
Skyrim.
so those are gonna be dual blades. They're
Yeah.
long. They look pretty long for dual blades, but those are totally dual.
Mr. Skyrim. Yeah, they might
I was
be.
hoping they weren't going to be dual blades.
I was
Yeah,
thinking.
those are-
I was thinking if there's a Witcher weapon that longsword would be fitting, just because of, I don't know, that seems to fit the style of the Witcher. And maybe this is some theory crafting and some tinfoil hat, but if those aren't dual blades, then they're probably just armor pieces.
Yeah, that's also a thing. I mean, he has one in his hand now, but he doesn't have the other one drawn. I really hope they don't do another, like, charge blade thing like they would, like, Dante's, because that was cool, but, like...
Oh
I don't
god,
think
at least
that's
not
really
another
fitting.
charge blade, at least. Sword and
Yeah.
shield! Sword and shield!
Sword and shield!
The shield is
Two
another
sword
sword.
blades.
I mean,
Yes.
I'd be down.
I don't know. That's why I think it's longsword, because longsword is really the only kind of weapon attack style-wise that really fits the way the Witcher works. You know,
See,
how he
I've
attacks
only
and
played, I've only ever played the first Witcher, so I'm not really familiar with enough with his settings.
The Witcher 3 is very much more like a traditional hack and slash game.
See,
So-
I hope it's sword and shield, and it's just like an invisible shield.
Oh yeah. Oh wait! He did have it on his left hand.
Exactly, he had it in his left hand,
Oh.
so maybe. But yeah, the thing about The Witcher that interested me the most is that they talked about there being like a difference, about there being like injecting Witcher gameplay and adding the RPG elements. How are they gonna do that? I haven't played The Witcher 3, so
But don't you
I have
know?
no idea, but
They don't have to do anything because Monster Hunter World won Best RPG. It already has RPG elements, don't you know?
exactly.
What do you think that they're gonna add? I'm guessing like at least like
Horses.
one new monster, right? Horses.
Horses, that's what they're
I
gonna
would
add.
love to fight a monster on horseback.
Oh my
Especially with like a great sword.
dude, mounts in Monster Hunter would be awesome. I mean, we got the wing drakes, but
Oh my
we
God.
can't really control them. But like,
Oh my god, if we had heavy bowgun on a horse, it would be like
Oh,
Valor heavy
yes.
bowgun all over again.
dude, riding
Shoot,
into
shoot,
battle,
shoot, dash, dash, dash.
freaking.
Shoot, shoot, shoot.
Oh, you could joust with your lance. Ride by the
No,
monster.
gun lance jousting where you get a bullet to the chest.
Or you can just charge up your wyvern fire while the horse gallops towards
Oh my
the
god.
monster.
Please, that's a dream right now. If I could get a great Jaggy and ride it into battle.
Yes,
boy,
yes.
Charge up my gun lance. That would actually get me to use gun lance.
You get mounts, but unless you pay for premium mounts, you only get to ride great Jaguars.
Dude, there was a bingo
Pulling
card.
EA.
Did anybody see the bingo thing that was going around?
Yeah, the bingo card.
yeah, I saw the video card.
I need new Jagras hairstyle options.
Real quick on The Witcher, one thing because I know that we know they're gonna do like layered armor, right? But
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they do Dante style layered armor because I want to put a Geralt head on my female body with like just like full like Kulve Taroth alpha or like Draken or just something like super thoughty, but with a Geralt head.
Well,
That's-
see,
I
they're not gonna do that. We might get a
No.
hairstyle, but we definitely won't get a face.
Or we might get like a full body thing, like how we
Yeah,
have
like a
for the
full
Street
layer.
Fighter. Yeah.
We probably will, to be completely honest.
It'll either be Street Fighter or it'll be like a hairstyle.
Yeah.
All right.
18
Ah,
nerds.
Tempered Nergy.
What do
18
you,
Nergy.
what are your theories on what would they would change for 18 nerd?
So my theory is basically either the spikes don't break, or their
Ooh.
time is a lot shorter.
Well, I think they're definitely gonna like make the time for the going black on the spikes shorter. I think probably the best way they could really change Nerg would be to not make him trip when you break spikes.
Yeah.
Or to require multiple, because that's the thing that turns him into such a punching bag and takes him from this like flagship terrifying monster that like devours dying elder dragons and ravenously attacks you and constantly regrows and has to shed these spikes because metabolism is so fast.
So I
and
don't know
turns
if
him
you
into
guys
this
noticed.
punching bag.
I don't know if you guys noticed while we're watching this video that it shares continuity with the original.
Yeah, this is right after he shot the SOS flare.
Oh, dude, I did not notice that because I
Yeah.
haven't seen the fucking game cinematics in like 6 months.
Yeah, if you line up the end of the original trailer with this one, this continues right after. As if nothing actually happened. This greatsword user is like the most ineffective hunter. He joined the hunt, ran away from Anjanath, and then Rathalos comes and takes his prey, and then he doesn't even pursue the original Anjanath he was hunting. He just goes towards the Rathalos, and then Rathalos fucking flies away.
So something
like,
interesting.
You're standard SOS hunter then.
Yeah.
Something interesting that was told to me is we sent Arc-Tempered Zora out into the ocean
Mhm.
Oh,
with
I
all of
didn't think
his,
about-
Arc-Tempered the
Yeah.
energy from the Streamstones.
Mhm.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. Also,
Margo.
I think this is good.
but yeah, like according to Ryoza, like in an interview he did with with PlayStation, right here is supposed to be a hint to like a returning monster. I'm guessing Elatrion because it was on the
Narga.
leak list.
It's Narga.
No, it has to be Nargacuga.
Is it
It's
not?
100%.
Okay, I don't know the previous monsters.
It's
so-
either
Yeah.
Narga or actually, I think it might be Barrio.
Barioth.
Barioth? No. The reason why everyone believes it's Narga is because Narga's, like, I think the only monster, I could be wrong, but if not the only monster, the most notable one that has glowy eyes that leaves streaks like that.
Gotcha.
That's why everyone's super excited, because people love all three monsters that use the skeleton. That's Barioth, Narga, and Tigrix. Also, his
Yeah.
armor looks super rad.
Oh, yeah,
dude, the
also,
armor
I
is
I totally ran his armor for ages because it's like evade window.
There's a little there's a Nendoroid you can get that has Barrio armor, and it has the
Mhm.
sword and shield, and I'm about to drop $100 just to get it because it's so cute.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And speaking of Sword and Shield, the reason why I wanted you to pause right here is because right there in that splash art, that is the sexiest Sword and Shield I have ever seen.
Oh yeah, no, this image is my background specifically because the sword and shield's at the front. I
Dude,
changed my wallpaper for the first time. I was still rocking the original Windows wallpaper until like 2
What?
days ago.
Well, with the green hills and the
No, the like the little
the blue,
Windows 10 blue window thing.
yeah. I don't know why I immediately jumped to the Windows 95 green hills.
I'm kind of interested in the Anjanath G rank armor there because like Adrenaline's actually a pretty interesting skill, and like you could potentially do some interesting stuff with it, except for like the armor's so trash.
Is that Anjanath, that corset looking thing?
I think
It looks
is.
like it. It's
It's
very
the same
purpley.
texture.
It has the exact same texture and color as like normal Anjanath stuff. It's just
Right.
like the sexier version because JRPG logic. The
Yeah.
less clothing you wear, the higher defenses.
It might be Anjanath, but there's another pink skin monster that I'm gonna throw out there as a possibility. It is a certain primate, the Kongalala. It's a very,
Ooh.
but I don't know. I don't know enough about Kongalala armor to know if that's.
It is also a possibility just because of the fact that like I don't remember if it's in this video or if it's in the interview. Oh, it's either stated or heavily believed by most people that they are going to be adding new monsters to the existing locales, which would make sense. Which would be interesting if they did that.
Yeah.
It also gives them more flexibility because they don't have to only add in new ice monsters. Because like you are gonna run into an issue where if they only add ice monsters, your weapons and gear coming from the new monsters are all gonna be ice elements or raw basically, or maybe like sleep or something like that. But you don't
Right.
really get to add extra elemental weapon variety unless you add in other monsters that aren't like exclusively ice monsters.
But basically, if you look at it, there's a lot more than just ice here.
Oh yeah. If they say they said that they intend this to be as big as a G rank expansion. So odds are, at the very least, I'm hoping / expecting for like at least 2 new areas. So like an ice place and maybe like a rocky
And I feel like if they add a new locale, it would probably be something that's not already a like geographical locale that they already have.
So
That's true.
I had already, I'd been calling this for a little while. I don't know if you remember if I was talking with you, but I've been saying it for a while. I believed that there would be an expansion with 3 new maps and probably about 20 new monsters. We're going to get an ice one for sure. Obviously, that was the one I believed we'd need the most. So obviously we have ice here. I
Right.
agree with Jinx. I'd talked about that as well. I would like for an entirely underground mine, but you know, you've got maybe, and this would be a good opportunity to introduce some insect monsters as well, like some carpenter ants or something like that. They're like
Yes.
digging these underground tunnels. So bringing back a couple of insect monsters, which would be neat.
Yes, please, Nursilla. Capcom, please.
And
I would
plus, we've got
definitely
the wooded
enjoy having
forest.
some
Like,
completely
imagine
new-
if they threw it back in the ancient forest as well. Like, you could throw in some new bugs as well in there.
No, yeah, plenty of monsters would show. I mean, Narga, for example, Narga is not primarily an ice monster, really, but it can show up in ice locations. At least I think. I could be wrong. I might just be remembering. But like
Someone
usually,
call Rage Gaming.
usually Nargacuga is associated with kind of a dark and misty and kind of, I don't know, like misty areas. I think there's an area called like the Misty Peaks or something where it's like it's another type of forest, but it's like a very magical looking forest with like glowy mushrooms and wet jungly area, not like you would see in the ancient forest.
That
So-
actually brings me to my third one that I'd like to see, which we can clearly see here. I really want to see some mountainous, peaky,
Yes.
lots of, not in the way of, you know, like Ancient Forest has a lot of verticality,
Yeah.
but it's all ropey and and jungly and what I want craggy, I want rocky, I want vertical, I want mountains, I want pathways, I want like rock.
Yeah, there's actually a Monster Hunter 4 map called Heaven's Mount that is basically that. Like you could mistaken it for floating islands, but it's just like a
Interesting.
series. It's just a series of rocks being held together, like and tall mountains being held together by these huge vines and like.
The thing
stuff.
is, it's interesting because I feel like they already have done that with the Coral Highlands. Because the Coral Highlands has a lot of verticality. You
That's
don't
true.
normally really get to see it. Like most monsters spawn next to the camps, so you just
Right.
go kill them and then actually explore. Unless you're trying to kill a goddamn power loom, and as soon as you get to it, after you spawn, no drunk drink, you just run straight to it. It flies to the other side of the map, and you run over and you fight it for 1 minute, and then it flies to the other side of the map again because it's
Yeah.
fucking power loom.
That
Then
is
you
a
get to
shame.
really experience the Coral Highland verticality.
Yeah, Coral Highlands is such a underused. Like most of it is so underused, man.
Like from like the big platform where you start climbing up and hit the second camp, and then all the way to where Kirin/Legiana nest is. That's pretty much the only place you fight in the Coral
Yeah.
Highlands.
Which is a shame because it's probably like one of my favorite Monster Hunter maps.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
Probably one of my favorite maps in video games, like altogether. It's just so
Yeah.
cool.
For sure.
Also, real talk.
Yeah.
In this little thing of them going towards the islands on the Iceborne video, am I the only one really hoping the mountain in the center is Zoromac?
Just a volcano waiting to happen.
Yep.
Now, something else I'd like to see is a beach and kind of like more into the ocean. But that's because of my selfish desire to see Mizutsune in Monster Hunter World. But
I mean, more locales in general would just be nice.
the other thing
just
I
more
want to
locales.
the other thing I want to point out is they didn't name this Monster Hunter World Ultimate, or they didn't
yeah.
name it Monster Hunter World some New World or something. They named it Iceborne.
Yeah.
Seems to
Which
heavily
I think is a
suggest that they're gonna
deliberate-
do more DLC.
Exactly. It's a deliberate
Yes.
choice, I believe, to indicate they're going to do another expansion. Because,
Yeah,
and even as far as names go, even if they didn't do Ultimate or whatever, you wouldn't use a term like Iceborne, just speaking narratively, you wouldn't use a term like Iceborne if it was your final one. You would do like Iceborne, or you would do Monster Hunter World,
the final frontier.
Final Frontier, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that sounds conclusive and epic.
Mhm.
Right. So this lends it to we have more. They're just not out yet.
Yeah, I am totally looking forward to that. I mean, World is perfect for that because like they already built the foundation for all these special DLCs, and I totally look forward to more like themed expansions. Like,
And they called
have,
it World.
yeah, they
It's
called it World. Yeah.
Yep. Although I think, to me, World always felt like it was more suggesting, oh hey, this is going to be our not only for Japan release. Because, like, yes, there's always been, like, a Monster Hunter fans outside of Japan, but realistically, the majority of their player base and how they focus gameplay and all the decision-making has always been towards Japan. They outwardly stated that this was the one that they wanted to focus towards a Western audience, and, like, obviously it worked because the sales numbers are ridiculous.
It is literally their best-selling game
Yeah.
Yep.
of all
Of
time.
all time.
And it's been out for less than a year.
Yep.
So obviously they wanted to build on it. I'm looking for this. Ooh, theory crafting time. This could also possibly mean if they were brave enough, they could try water again. Water
Well, I
monsters.
mean, we
and that-
have water expert, and
We
it's
do.
useless.
It really is, yeah. Aquatic Expert is literally used to make the easiest fight Gyarados in the game kind of easier, I guess.
Oh my god, I just realized there's only a single place where that actually matters.
No.
it's-
Actually, hold on. Here's
And Bareth, if you let Bareth go back to his home and you don't just kill him in the slopes because
Yeah,
he's
but, like,
really easy to kill.
There's only one map where water ever plays an effect, and it
and
doesn't
it's the
even play that much.
fucking desert! It's the fucking desert!
Here's
And-
something that I was talking about because we were wondering, is ATKT going to be a different fight, and in what way? 80K.
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about that. Speaking-
sorry, go ahead.
Speaking as someone who hasn't grinded KT at all, I just play her like when she's out like 1 or 2 times, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't think they're gonna really change her at all in terms of gameplay. Aside
I'm
from
hoping
changing, like numbers.
I'm hoping
Well-
Arc-Tempered Xeno is an indication of what they're willing to do for the Arc-Tempered monsters coming up.
So
Here's-
in the trailer, they did actually show some stuff. They did actually kind of suggest how she's gonna change, or at least tell us one way she's gonna change.
Right,
which
but I
is-
didn't listen to that.
No worries. But if you hit certain conditions before she's released and then release her, she enters I think they call it a fury state. And like that's how you get the rainbow rewards. So like when she's in a fury state, her area 4, like her naked fight, is a lot different. Like, they showed off I think 1 or 2 different attacks in the trailer where like she does like this wide sweeping attack that kind of similar to like the AT Xeno sweeping attacks, leaves lava puddles that stay there for a while. And like her fight is like more dangerous, different. She has new moves. She's it seems like maybe she's not necessarily more aggressive because she's already aggressive as hell. But like the fight is changed up quite a bit then. And then when you beat her in Fury State is when you get the rainbow rewards. However, if you don't hit those triggering conditions before she releases and then release her, you'll just fight a normal KT in Area 4.
Here's a
Oh,
way that
interpreted.
I thought would be really interesting. So she already does her floor is lava attack. What if we expand on that and make not just like an area 3 pool of lava, but like an actual standing pool of water that affects you in the same way that like the Gyarados fight does. So not only
Interesting.
would you need water expert, because Katie's so freaking aggressive, if you were to sit in that lava, you'd be dead.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
basically, so you have these as the lava rises up, so do little dry patches. So you've got like 4 or 5 little islands that you can be on top of. Or if you want to be in the lava, you pretty much need water expert.
Interesting.
And then you might even need heat guard so you don't take damage.
Yeah,
Interesting.
That's
So I think
actually
that- I think the heat guard thing is it looks like it's mostly confirmed since in the actual trailer they do show that one breath attack that leaves lava. I would guess they function similarly to AT Xenos, and you might need heat guard to deal with those. Otherwise you have a lot of area denial. Making those lava puddles also slow you down would be interesting. That would be an interesting mechanic. I feel like that would be a very rage creating mechanic, but then again, I don't think Capcom's exactly against making rage creating mechanics. Cough, cough, Luna, cough, cough.
See, I don't, but then like, yeah, it's rage inducing, but hey, they're giving you the tools to counter it by, giving
exactly.
water expert. So they're like, okay, you can use this and get done with it and be fine, just like everything else. You can use You don't like AT Xeno's lasers? Okay, you get guard up. You don't like the floor is lava slowing you down? Get water expert.
Yeah, I like that idea of using AT as an opportunity to make the lesser used skills more viable. I just wish they did it more.
Oh boy, and they're planning to develop. So this is actually
PC
a
expansion
really
will come out in
telling
2020.
phrase. That's the thing, is that's a really telling phrase, because they were talking about how they were trying to catch up PC, but they just said they're planning to also release these for PC, or like,
like
it sound like they're going to be behind again.
yeah, because it should be a given, but the fact that they pointed out
Makes it sound like, yeah, they're trying to catch them up, but it doesn't sound like they're actually planning on having both PC and console ever be on the exact same release schedule.
Yeah. I mean, I do hope that if it does have to catch up, we don't have to wait half a year.
Now, I wonder if this trial version will carry over into a real game. Yes, it will. Okay.
It does, yeah. You can carry save data over.
World can offer, including quests, equipment crafting and upgrading, and online multiplayer up to Hunter Rank 4 and 3-star quests. Your save data from the trial version will carry over to the full retail version.
I was actually thinking that we could do that. What if we did like a "Should you play Monster Hunter World" video for like people considering the trial version? I don't know.
The Monster Hunter World trial version will be
Yeah, the problem is that the trial versions, if we did a video like that, we'd have to get it done like tomorrow.
Oh, it's not.
It's like it's only for like a week. It's only for a week starting like today. Is it today? Yeah, starting today.
Well, I mean, I could always install it and play it on my computer.
another update on Monster
Lol.
Hunter World Iceborne in spring of next year.
And see, I wonder what
Iceborne.
spring is to them.
Iceborne.
That's all we have to share with everyone.
Probably the very end of spring. So like the last possible day of spring,
Now let me say goodbye with these
like
final
May or
words.
something.
Happy hunting, hunters.
Yay! Happy hunting!
hunting!
Love that.
Oh shit! I almost forgot. So at the very end, when they're talking about they're doing the Iceborne trailer, right? It says moves. That was probably the part I was the most excited about in the entire developer update, was when that popped up. Because moves could possibly mean like new monster moves, right? Like all the old monsters get new moves, which would frankly be the easier thing for them to implement. But it's also entirely possible new moves means new hunter moves, and that has me really excited.
Right.
Because the best way you could possibly shake up the meta and add more, I guess, variety and like new life to like Monster Hunter World, even more than adding new monsters, new gear, G rank, whatever, is to change up the movesets. Because that alone could completely change which builds are viable, which fighting styles are viable, which ones are fun for you or not. Like that's a really big deal if they add new weapon moves to the different weapon classes.
Yeah, because changing a monster's moveset just changes it for that monster. Changing a weapon moveset changes how, I mean, basically you play the game. Everything, your whole gameplay is based around the weapon's moveset. And,
here's how about this? They reintroduce oils.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, right? I've heard this theory. I've heard this theory that new moves might mean that they introduce hunter arts in here.
Well, here's that's what I'm hoping for, is something like that.
Jinx and I were talking about this, and now that I've been playing GU, because I remember somebody said something about how, GU is great because they had hunter arts and it's so different. And having now played GU, I've noticed that most of the hunter arts are just regular moves in World.
Yeah.
Oh, like what? I've only
so
played X like a little bit, or Gen, I guess.
So I'm using the hammer right now, and I can't remember. It's like the spinning comet or something. The spinning comet. And that's just your regular charge 3 release, not moving. As the hammer.
I see.
That's just the regular ability that's already in there.
It is. Yeah, that's true. I remember them showing that in the trail. I'm like, oh, that's rad. But yeah, when you charge up your hammer and then you just spin it. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is they might just port over more of the moves from, like, just in this case, GU. Because that seems like where they're coming from. Is there just other hunting arts?
And they also said in that Ryozo did with PlayStation, he said that they're also going to be including some quality of life upgrades with the expansion. And so that almost definitely means moveset / numbers tweaking for weapons.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting because, like, say they tweak Charge Blade and they make every axe attack that is not SAED or AED actually better and usable.
What? You mean there would be a reason to go into axe mode? What?
Right? Say they did that. That
Crit
would
draw,
be
draw
interesting.
blade. Or crit draw
'Cause you might
greatsword.
maybe they add a new move to Longsword that you use instead of Helmbreaker that is really good with Elemental Longsword and suddenly makes Elemental Longsword a potentially viable option. To me, will be the best thing they could possibly do for this game now.
Yeah,
Like,
it would totally make
every
me want
fight-
to try out more weapons.
Exactly. You would want to try out more weapons. Part of the longevity that Monster Hunter games have is even if you beat every single monster, you master how to fight every single monster with a weapon, you can then pick up another one of 13 weapons and do it all over again. But now you can do that another several times over if you have these extra moves that you can include in your sets.
Yeah. Each weapon is like its own class if it were in an RPG.
I mean, honestly, each one individually is as, if not more, complex than most main weapons in other RPG games.
Oh, for sure.
JoCat and I are just like, Sword and Shield is more complex, and we're just like, preach it, preach. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we're the 2 of 5 people who actually use the sword and shield.
I mean, it is more complex until you just realize, oh, I'm just playing Bash forever and ever and ever and ever.
Hey man, there's an art to Falling Bash.
I mean, there is. There's an art to Unga Bunga SAD as well. Charge Blade doesn't change the fact you're just spamming Charge Blade and file charge.
We're not
Unga
flying, we're
bunga
falling with
SAD
style.
Charge blade.
Unga
I like
Bunga.
that. I like that.
But yeah, like that's the question that I have is if they are talking about new hunter moves, how are they going to implement that? Are they going to actually give you styles? Like, are they going to give you the option to replace moves or change moves up? Or are they just going to add moves to the moveset? Because I feel like they have a lack of button inputs left to add new moves. Like, Charge Blade has I think the biggest moveset in the entire game out of any weapon, even though you only use 2 combos. But
you're right. They
you're
pretty much use
you have
every
buttons.
button.
Something like Charge Blade, they probably would have to like implement something like weapon arts in order, or whatever it's called, hunter arts, hunter styles. Yeah. I'm thinking of Dark Souls now. In order to be able to use if they different moves.
That would probably be the good middle ground, because if they don't implement hunter arts, because a lot of the moves are essentially hunter arts already, they would probably implement styles, which is still a fantastic way to breathe new life into these weapons, just because like you can relearn them and just like freshen up. Because
if they actually
could you imagine Switch Axe with a counter move?
If they actually put aerial into the game, you bet your ass.
Aerial SNS main.
Personally, I prefer the air.
Dude, you don't even have to land your backstep anymore. You just leap off of the monster.
I mean, backstep still has iframes. I'm still gonna use it, but yeah,
right.
No, yeah.
There's buckets of iframes. That's Dark Souls.
Just rolling towards the monster and like just, oh my, dude! I saw that animation when I first got into GU, and I'm just like, holy shit, hardcore parkour! Let's go.
Aerial Great Soul will have a completely new meaning. Who needs a ledge?
Who needs a ledge? But see, I mean, but think about it though. Because you could do something like aerial crit draw greatsword, where you leap forward and then you freaking draw the sword off your back and slam it on it. Like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it would also just be cool to... Can you just imagine what the vaulting motion on a greatsword would look like? Like if you... Or can you imagine if you TCS'd and then vaulted off it?
Oh, yeah. And just like these style, they add so much, because... Seeing those clips of GU, you can vault off your friends with aerial style. Yeah. So like, I remember this really awesome clip where someone's sleep bombing this monster, and this greatsword user has his friend like stand a couple of yards away from the bombs, and he's like, "Okay, stand there," and then he jumps off of his friend, and the charge. It's just so awesome. They just add so much.
All I ask for specifically to have Switch X with a counter or defensive move of any kind. I don't care what it is. It can just be that instead of hopping, I have a normal fucking roll. but give me something, because I'm tired of running TA switch X and getting decked because I don't have 2 shots of espresso in my system 10 minutes ago. My reaction time is on point.
What, Jinx? Are you saying that
Jesus.
you don't like having a dodge that has less iframes than a normal roll?
Oh, of course I do, because I'm a masochist and it's so much fun getting just juggled about by a
and
monster.
covers less ground, so you can't even get out of the way of attacks.
It's just worse in every possible way.
So yeah, Capcom,
But
give
yeah.
oils.
Yes, give oils.
Give oils.
Give, please.
Give oils.
Give, please.
I don't know what oils do, but
Oils
give
are a
SMS people are asking
way.
for them.
Oils are a way to basically you apply an oil to the sword and shield, and it gives you a set effect. It can give you Mind's Eye, Mind's Eye. It can give you Affinity. What are the other oils?
Part breaker, exhaust.
Ooh, exhaust. Interesting.
Yeah,
KO Sword and Shield.
And I think there's one more called Chaos Oil, which applies all of them, and I think it's like a hunter art.
Yeah.
But it's just cool to continue to add versatility to the sword and shield, which I think
It's
a lot of the that's the whole point. Yeah, which a lot of the hunter arts do. Like they add into the theme of the weapon.
Okay, so say they add oils, and you could use a wheel like you do for ammo on bow guns. So you can implement that same wheel. So it's not like you're creating some crazy new thing that has to be. It's already an implement. You just take the wheel style from the bow guns and then you add oils there instead.
And also, just the act of applying oils just looks rad as shit. Like it's just cool. I just love the visual of preparing your weapon. That's why in action movies you see someone cocking a shotgun and you're like, yeah. All right, cool.
Cool stuff.
Cool. So, all right. So, here's a question that I've been wanting to ask. 3 monsters that you would want, aside from Nargacuga, 3 monsters that you would want to see in this ice expansion.
Jinx, I'll let you go first.
I haven't really played enough of the previous games, so the ones I'm gonna list are probably gonna be like big names because I've heard of them.
Right.
But Rajang, definitely, because from everything I have heard about Rajang, he is a badass and he beats your ass to pulp, and I want to fight that.
Dude, Elder Dragons
sounds masochistic as shit, and I want to fight that.
Elder Dragons have nothing on Rajang.
Kind of want to fight Kezu because he's ugly and weird and this gross white thing. And I feel like his fight would be a lot different from other fights. Like, a large part of for me is like, I want whatever new monsters we get, I want them to be different experiences from what we already have,
right.
Because like that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more stuff to kill, but I also want the stuff to kill to not just be like, hey, it's Orochi Kirin, but they just took Kirin and made the element ice instead, and like gave it 2 new moves. Enjoy. Woo! Like that was the problem. Like the first few Arc Tempers was they didn't play differently. Like for all intents and purposes, they just had a bit more AOE. And then like Arc Temper Val and like Arc Temper Xeno actually had different mechanics. Like they actually felt like a different fight.
Right.
Third one would probably be I want a different siege monster. I can't remember the fucking name. I actually haven't even played any of the siege monsters in other games, so I don't know which one will be like a good one to port over. But I would like a siege monster that isn't fucking boring as shit like Zora, but also isn't as complex as KT is. Because I like how complex KT is, and I like how the level of complexity of KT means that we can make a crap load of videos on the mechanics. But like something that's kind of I want a siege monster that does what Zora should have done and actually is a fun fight. Because like executed so poorly. Like it could have been such a fun, interesting fight. Just like this is awful. This is just like shooting cannons for 5 minutes, basically.
I haven't fought it myself, but I hear a lot of people are a big fan of Gogmazios.
Yeah, I've heard about that one too.
Tuna, 3 monsters.
All right, so obviously my material is very limited, having only played World and now just finally getting into GU.
Right.
But I
bunch
am
of scrubs around me.
Yes, that's actually. I'm not gonna lie. That's part of the reason why I invited you, because I knew you had a lot more reference than either of us did.
Yeah. As opposed to being a casual in Monster Hunter World, I'm a casual in several Monster Hunter games.
I like a good set of armor. I like cute armor. I like good armor. So I want Legambi
Yes.
because that armor is great.
Yes.
And then I want I want Barioth for the sword and shield.
What does Barioth's sword and shield even look like? I forgot. Hold on. Okay, and one more?
And then that's about my reference level.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, here I am talking about, oh, I think this would be interesting in gameplay if they imp this monster. Tuna's like, I want this pretty sword and shield and armor.
I want my character to look cute.
Yeah.
So how about you, JoCat? What 3 monsters would you want to...
Well, as someone who's never reached G rank in any of the previous Monster Hunter games, oh man, I also want Lagombi just because Lagombi is the fucking best. It's just like a nice fight as well. Like just everything about Lagombi. I like how the monster looks. I like how the fight plays, and I also love the armor because it's adorable as shit. Even the male armor, the men don't have to wear like a big hulking mass of metal while the girls get all the cute stuff. I wouldn't want Kezu, but I'd be fine. Like you mentioned Kezu, and I'm like, and it is a totally different fight. Like from a lot of the monsters, like you really have to think about how you want to approach it, especially if you're a melee character. But I think I would want Kezu's cousin, which is Giganox. Giganox is, I think, Capcom's attempt at redoing Kezu, but it's kind of like a tapeworm, and it stretches its mouth all over the place, and it does poison. And I have a soft spot for poison weapons. Oh, and one more.
Oh wait, what's? Oh, that's some good armor though.
Oh yeah. If we do get an underground area, I think I would want Tetsukabra from For You. Tetsukabra is basically like this frog that pulls up rocks.
He's in GU as well. He's like the first actual fight you do. That's not just a reskin. Yeah, he was fun. He was really fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts? Clothing thoughts. I have clothing thoughts. Give me cute armor, please.
High hopes, setting myself up for disappointment. Looking forward to it.
Pretty much same. Either way, we'll make videos on it.
Should I drop the record? Or are we good?
Sure.
I guess we should just all say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Alright, cool. I guess that about does it. Bye.
Yeah. I'm not good at outros.